I quit Black Desert. No, that's not clickbait. Black Desert was, for the better part of 3 years, my favorite game. I've officially played almost 15,000 hours, and yeah, I quit. I don't have any like super shiny embellishments on that. Black Desert hasn't been my main game for at least a few months now, and I have quite a few reasons for that, but I am also going to use this video to talk about what I love and what I hate about Black Desert. Funnily enough, I actually wrote the bones of this script years ago, but like an abusive relationship, I just kept coming back to BDO, and I never fully stepped away from it. But lately I've just been really burnt out for a variety of reasons that you'll see in the second half of this video. But for the first half of the video, I really want to cover what I love about the game, the reasons why it was my favorite game for so long. So yeah, these are in no particular order. Yeah, this video is going to be really informal, so I apologize if it's a little bit awkward, or if I'm a little bit awkward, or whatever. I just want to be really clear that, like, I'm not blowing up my gear or anything like that. I did uninstall the game because I needed more room for video renders. On my PC, I have a really small SSD, so I needed the space for it. But that doesn't mean that, like, I may not try to play it again when the next region comes out, of course. It's really sad. It's always sad when you have to move on from something that you once loved. Anyway, the good stuff. Let's start with life skills. The life skill system in Black Desert is probably the most complex and intricate system for like gathering and crafting that I've ever experienced in a game. There are many life skills. Some can be done AFK, some are active. Each skill is pretty unique with unique mechanics and unique gear. Horse training's my favorite. There's also sea content like sailing, fishing, and bartering. There's a lot of variety in the life skills, and it kept things interesting and fun for me for a while, honestly. There's been a lot of updates and changes to life skills in the last few years. All good, in my opinion, except for maybe the trading rework. That was kind of a disaster. Visuals! The visuals in BDO are amazing. This is kind of the low-hanging fruit. Literally everybody talks about the graphics in BDO. The visuals are amazing, yeah. I cannot praise their art team enough. Everything is beautiful in this game. Characters are beautiful, the environments are beautiful. It's all just gorgeous. A big part of my enjoyment in this game was exploring the world and finding interesting or pretty places and taking screenshots of my characters there. Next up is the story. While usually are spammed through or ignored entirely, Black Desert actually has an amazing story and really interesting lore that I love, as made evident by my BDO lore series here on my channel that I've been keeping up for years. You can really tell that the writers, much like the art department, put a lot of heart and soul into their work. They work really hard, and I really enjoy their work. And it makes me really sad that they're not appreciated more, you know what I mean? Quests are really fleshed out and well written, and there's this whole knowledge system where you can discover hidden lore bits about the world, about literally everything. It's super cool, and I love that about the game. I just wish that people didn't dunk on it so much. The meme is like, BDO has no lore, BDO has no story, ook ook, striker go boom. Like, and it's very, I believe the scientific word for it is stupid. Like, of course, if you skip the story, it's not going to be enjoyable because you skipped it. Anyway, next is the action combat. PvE combat is fast-paced and pretty fun. The particle effects, visuals, and sound design are really satisfying. There's a pretty decent variety of classes and playstyles to choose from, and mob designs tend to be pretty interesting. And that's the stuff that I love. So, now on to the things that I hate. These things are the reason why Black Desert isn't my main game anymore. But yeah, these are just all entirely my opinions. Everyone's experience is different, but these are what I disliked about the game personally. Open world PvP. This one's no secret. I complain about open world PvP and MMOs all the time. For those more interested in PvE content and just exploring the world and chilling, getting randomly murdered by trolls while just traveling between towns or existing in general is extremely stressful. If you want to play this game over level 49, you're going to experience random death caused by other players. Or adding like permanent PvE servers where there's no PvP, kind of like an anti-Arsha. I've been suggesting that for years, but I guess maybe it's not a viable option. I don't know. BDO forces PvP on everyone, and it can happen anywhere outside of a safe zone. If you have anxiety, this particular aspect of Black Desert is very likely to be stressful for you. I have a couple different chronic anxiety disorders, and I get a panic attack anytime I see another character on my mini-map, unless I'm in a town. It's great. And it's one of the reasons I can't play the game regularly anymore. It's just too freaking stressful. I don't enjoy it at all. I don't enjoy being paranoid of all the other players in an MMO. That's silly. Next is gender-locked classes. I should not have to really explain this one. Most classes are locked to one gender. There's only like a couple classes that have like a variant in the opposite sex. You know, it's 2024. Why is this even still a thing? Let people play on the gender that they want and look how they want. Come on, what the frick? Why? Anyway, next is a circle, and a circle. A circle is a circle is a circle. Grinding in circles is the whole bloody game. If you don't like circles, don't play Black Desert. The game is genuinely an endless grind. Whether you life skill or combat, PvE or PvP, you will have to grind in a circle for gear at some point. It's an endless treadmill, and it can get very, very boring and honestly mentally exhausting. Some people find it therapeutic. Next is another system I resent, the RNG enhancement system. Black Desert is basically just an online casino, so if you like gambling, you'll love Black Desert. For everyone else, it's infuriating and stressful and doesn't feel properly rewarding of hard work, but instead like punishing. You can grind for hours and hours and hours just to have something poof or downgrade. I'll say that they recently introduced a system for getting decent gear that isn't RNG based. It's called the guarantee pin system. But if you ever want to hit end game like gear, you're gonna have to gamble or grind your life away to save up and buy it off of the central market. Good luck. FPS is DPS. PvP combat is based on FPS equals DPS and gear score, not on skill. It makes PvP like Node Wars absolutely rage-inducing and feel pretty pointless and like a waste of time. If you have a PC that maybe isn't top of the line, or if your internet connection is not absolutely freaking incredible, you're probably not going to have a fun time in Black Desert's PvP, whether it's Red Battlefield or Node Wars or Siege or whatever. And that leads me to, it melts PCs. The game is poorly optimized, so much so that there are actually a few people that have this whole side hustle to re-optimize your PC for Black Desert specifically. You need a really good PC to run BDO on the graphics it's meant to be viewed on, and even then it still probably will melt your PC at some point. My last PC literally had the sound card melt because Black Desert overheated it so badly, and that took less than a year to do that. My current PC is much more powerful, and I've had it for a couple years, but BDO still makes it clock out at like 85 to 100 Celsius. It's ridiculous. The other MMOs I play have me sitting at like 60 to 75 Celsius in comparison. Next is the progression. As I mentioned before with the RNG system, gear is not acquired with skill, but instead with time and luck, through the grinding for items that have drop rates so low that they often make you want to cry, and the RNG enhancement systems that can definitely feel very rigged at times. It's a very unrewarding progression system. The progression in Black Desert oftentimes leaves people, including myself, feeling empty and dead inside rather than feeling accomplished and like they've achieved something challenging. The story presentation. I had to mention it. It's unfortunate. The story in Black Desert is a good story, but it's presented in a way that isn't super entertaining to most people. 99% of BDO players aren't even aware that there is a story. And if you say you do like the story in Black Desert, a majority of those players are just going to crap on you for it. I speak from experience. But yeah, this is something that they are fixing, I will say that, so I will give them credit where credit is due. They reworked the Balanos main story questline, adding cutscenes and voice acting where appropriate, and I did a whole video on it and why I thought it was a great improvement, and I hope that they continue to do it for all of the older regions. But even some of the newer writing, like in my video about Scholar, I bring this up actually, the writing is so bad. It's just the way that it's written. I guess like in Land of the Morning Light, the localization team I think knocked it out of the park, and then with Ulukita and Scholar I feel like it was like 2 steps back, kind of. That content felt a little bit less polished, less loved, I suppose. But anyway, on to the very last thing that I absolutely hate about Black Desert, and this is ultimately the reason why I decided to step away from the game. It's the community. A major portion of the Black Desert community is unfortunately very toxic. This is one of the biggest factors for me, as I mentioned. And I'm basing this opinion solely on my personal experiences in the game, on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, on the BDO-related discords over the past 3-4 years. And I'm aware that there are bad apples in every bunch, but in Black Desert, being a jerk is the rule, not the exception. I have made some amazing friends in the Black Desert community, like, I think I can literally count them on one hand. It's like three or four people. But they are the exception. They're a very, very, very small portion of the player base, and I have other interests in common with those people, not just Black Desert. If someone has viable criticisms about Black Desert, a majority of the players will get deeply personally offended, as if you've just kicked their puppy. Even if those criticisms are constructive and made out of a place of wanting the game to be better, they will still get angry at you and take it personally. And if you try to play another game, they will trash talk that game and get angry at you for trying something different, for cheating on Black Desert. How dare you? If a new mechanic or system is introduced to help new players enjoy the game and continue to play, veteran players will get furious. They want everyone to suffer the way they suffered, which is just the worst take. Wouldn't you, like, if you were a decent human, want people to have it easier than you do? Just saying. But they can complain and trash talk the game and trash talk the devs in the Heidel and Calpheon ball chats all they want, and that's totally fine. It's these particularly incredibly toxic attitudes and very unhealthy behaviors of the majority of the community that I honestly just can't stand to be around, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. It's exhausting. I also want to talk about a bit of drama that happened to me last year. So last summer, I was accepted into the Black Desert Creator Program. I was really, really proud of myself for this. I'd worked on it really hard for quite a while, and I talked about it a lot. And I was really excited and happy about it because, like, but then in September, I got a message from one of the CMs/GMs that I was being kicked from the program because my streaming viewer requirement wasn't good enough. But as you can see in this DM, I've censored their name for their own privacy because I'm not sure if they still work there. I think they do, but as you can see in my response, I tell them that I don't stream. I haven't streamed on Twitch for well over a year now, and when I applied for the creator program, it was only with my YouTube channel, and my YouTube numbers were good enough. For all of the months that I was a part of the program, I met the requirements. It wasn't until after I got kicked from the program that my numbers actually started to go down because I was so depressed that I really struggled to continue to make content, like, with any sort of happiness in my heart. I was so upset. So yeah, that basically proved to me that they don't have an actual review process for the people that they put in their creator program, and I wonder how many other people were, like, unjustly kicked. But it was really upsetting. I was really upset. I was very salty. I'm still pretty upset. And then after that, shortly after I was kicked, the BDO YouTube channel posted a video that looked very similar to my video that I had just made about Ulukita. And they had never used that style or talked about those particular kinds of topics before in their BDOology videos. As you can see here, this is an example. That's probably just a coincidence. Obviously, this is a very common style to use in videos about locations because it's, you know, it's like the retro postcard vibe. So I'm not saying they did, but it is fishy and it was upsetting. So yeah, that's another one of the reasons that I quit, is because their staff just didn't give a shit about me. And then appeared to actively rip me off. If you guys watch my, like, community tab, I posted screenshots of all of this as it happened last year, and it was really upsetting. You guys were really supportive though, so thank you for that. So yeah, like I said before, this isn't like the end. Like, I'm not gonna blow up my gear and never install the game again. It's just not my main game anymore. I'll still play it occasionally when there's new content released. Most likely when Land of the Morning Light Part 2 comes out, I will make a video about it. When the new class comes out, I will make a video about it, but other than that, I'm not really playing. That kind of makes me a little sad, but at the same time, I also am a lot less stressed out all the time. Black Desert has its good things, but ultimately, like, it's not the game's fault that any of that stuff happened. It's the people, right? It's the people that make it and it's the people that drove me to another game. I understand if some people are maybe a little upset with me because I do have all these videos about Black Desert lore, and I have been making Black Desert content for years. I started this channel on that alone. Like, I wanted to make content explaining the lore to people because they were having a hard time understanding it. And that's still the role this channel will play. I'm not deleting any of my BDO content. I'm still gonna be making new BDO content occasionally when new stuff comes out, as I said before. So like, this is not the end. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and for watching and for listening to me ramble. But anyway, I've been putting off making this video for a while because I was afraid that people would like get upset with me. But at the end of the day, like, me not actively playing all the time doesn't affect anyone else's enjoyment of the game, so I don't know why they would be upset. And it's not like I'm completely stopping making content altogether. Really, nothing is changing because I haven't been making like daily, regular, weekly Black Desert content for a while now because I just am burnt out. I don't know what to talk about. I'm out of stuff to talk about. Like, I've talked about all the classes that are currently out. I've done regional videos. I may do Sarindia topography videos when the Sarindia rework comes out. That is a plan that I have. But I've noticed that with my Ulakita and my Balanos tourism topography videos, they just don't do as well as my other content, and they take quite a lot of effort. So yeah, I will hush now. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much to my subscribers and the people who comment. I read all your comments. Thank you so much. For those of you who have been kind and encouraging over the years with my Black Desert content, because I know it's very niche. Everybody and their mother posts Black Desert guides, but I don't know very many of us who talk about the lore, and there's a reason for that, unfortunately. And of course, thank you so much to my channel members, and I hope that you all are doing well and you stay safe and happy and healthy, and I hope that I see you next time here in the library.